What's going on, all you wild bounty hunters? Your two favorite critics are back here from the Sarlacc Pit, and tonight we're going to be talking about the brand new show that just premiered on Disney Plus. We're talking about the Book of Boba Fett. Ooh.
Hey, Bo.
So I'm Logan Myers, my good mate over there.
Henry Hill, and we are back today to talk about this brand new Disney Plus show that we've, it's been teased ever since the end of last season of Mandalorian with that final scene where we saw Boba Fett take, Jabba's palace there, take over for Bib Fortuna on the throne. Him and Fennec Shand from the Mandalorian taking over the throne, so he's going to be the new boss there. So it picks up, this story picks up right from there, basically. And we get a nice little flashback episode, basically, of what happened after he landed in the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi.
He's in the bacta tank, and he basically, is having these thoughts and memories, and it goes back to what exactly happened. The biggest mystery in the Star Wars universe, how Boba Fett survived Return of the Jedi by falling in the Sarlacc pit. And they dive into this early on in the episode. It's pretty quick, but you pretty much get the point of him being inside, and the intestines are suffocating him. And he finds a stormtrooper, and he pulls off the oxygen to breathe in. He basically torches the inside and digs his way out of the Sarlacc pit and up through the sand to Tatooine, and seeing how he really got his ass whipped with all the acid. That's what basically happened to all his skin from the acid inside of the Sarlacc pit. So that's where we're setting up this episode. It's really interesting.
It is. It's awesome to go back and give Boba Fett his proper due after all these years. I think in the original trilogy, they said he had 6 minutes of screen time total. He was a very minor character, but a very beloved character the world over. Everybody dressed like him for Halloween and for all the cosplay and the conventions and stuff. So it's a story that people have been clamoring for, for a long time. And we finally get it here at the end of 2021 with the Book of Boba Fett. And this episode is titled Stranger in a Strange Land. It's the first of 7 episodes planned. I believe this is going to be just a contained 7-episode limited series here for Boba Fett, just to let his story play out and finally give him his due, his screen time that he's deserved. Also, the episode is directed by Robert Rodriguez, who directed some episodes of The Mandalorian. And his episodes in The Mandalorian I really liked. And this kickoff to this, Book of Boba Fett series was really well done. I like his style, the way he does things. And I like the way this episode was shot and the way it looked. It felt very similar to The Mandalorian style. And there are several sequences there where we got to see some action. But this first episode's mainly just to show you, what happened to him after the Sarlacc pit. We get to see some old characters and creatures that we remember back from the original trilogy.
This felt like a Western, much like The Mandalorian, which I absolutely loved. It really had that rough and gritty feel to it, being in the desert, Tatooine. There's a lot of crime there. It just felt like, Western we'd see back in the day. So you can definitely see they're paying homage to that. And Robert Rodriguez, he does that in a lot of his films as it is, kind of desert, rough theme to it. And he does it really well. In terms of action, there's a really great sequence here. I'll have to say that with him being in the bacta tank, having memories of going back to the Tusken Raiders and then having to do with the Jawas from the original films that we know from The Mandalorian as well. But he basically he's a prisoner for them, and it really sets up this awesome fight scene, probably the only really action scene in this episode, dealing with this huge monster and Boba Fett snapping out and killing it, cutting its head off basically. And it brings it back to the little area where the Tusken Raiders are hanging out, and they respect him. They respect Boba Fett for what he did, saved another creature from this huge monster.
Just like we saw in The Mandalorian, it shows just how big of a badass Boba Fett is during those scenes where he's able to escape and then sort of save the day, and everybody earns everybody's respect there and loyalty. We see Temeura Morrison, coming back on from the Mandalorian, his role there. He's played Boba Fett and Jango Fett ever since like Attack of the Clones, I believe, and in some of the cartoon series, I believe. So he's the man as far as Boba Fett's concerned, and he gets some time, obviously without the suit and without the helmet, but by the time the episode ends, he's got the full gear on. It looks brand new. It's pristine. He's the ruler now. So it's his show. We also see Ming-Na Wen again as Fennec Shand, back from the Mandalorian, that series. And she was also on Star Wars, The Bad Batch, her character there. So it's cool seeing her. She's Boba Fett's sidekick there and always helps him out. There's a cool sequence where they're surrounded, and there's a really cool fight scene where she's running rooftop to rooftop, going after these people that came and tried to stop them and capture them. And it has that Robert Rodriguez feel. The fight scenes, really action packed, a lot of chasing and fighting there. Very cool. And I must say, the scene with the creature that Boba Fett's able to decapitate at the end, the CGI looks amazing. Like, it's the best CGI you'll ever see. It looks seamless. It almost looks practical. It's so good. Maybe it even is a hybrid of practical and CGI, but it just looks really awesome.
Takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so it's been 5 years after the Sarlacc pit. Him coming out of this and us being fans trying to wonder what happened to Boba Fett, how he survived, really getting that story of how he got out of that situation and where he's at currently, ruling, taking over for Jabba the Hutt on the throne and his territory. Him and Fennec Shand are kind of tag team in it, and bad things are about to happen, especially in Tatooine. And really great setup for this episode. Temeura Morrison, really great actor. I loved him as Boba Fett. He is Boba Fett to me. A lot of familiar faces show up along the way. A lot of Easter eggs, nods to Return of the Jedi. Obviously, this being 5 years after that film, so. A really great setup. I'm interested to see where they go with this. Hopefully they keep the Western theme and dive into that more, because it just feels better that way with Robert Rodriguez especially. So if they keep the tone that way, I think the show's going to be really fantastic.
I have to agree with you. Yeah, it's really well done. I love the episode. I love how it filled in the blanks that we had from the Return of the Jedi. And continuing the story of Boba Fett from the Mandalorian, just really well done, really expertly directed by Robert Rodriguez. The visuals are great. The acting was great. The action sequences, the couple that we had, were really spectacular. And yeah, all the previews that we've seen for the Book of Boba Fett focused on you could tell it was just scenes basically from this first episode. So we don't really know what's going to happen from here on out. And that's part of the excitement. His story hasn't been written yet. So we're going to get this original story of Boba Fett and what happens, and who the villains are going to be. Who are we going to see, come over from the original trilogy? What characters are we going to see, that we already recognize? It's pretty exciting to find out what's going to happen in this series. And I'm interested to see if it's going to be Robert Rodriguez from here on out, or if they're going to switch up the directors. I didn't really read behind the scenes on that, but yeah, between Robert Rodriguez, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau, the love of Star Wars is here, and it shows up on the screen, and especially in this first episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
And what a time to be alive. We have a Boba Fett TV show on Disney Plus. I never would have guessed that 20 years ago. He's always been one of my favorite bounty hunters. Not much screen time, 6 minutes in all the films. So we have a little glimpse of this character, but now we're getting more of a backstory, getting more substance to this character. We've, us as fans have been wanting for a very long time. So it's in very good hands. This is a great setup episode, and I really had a great time with it. Book of Boba Fett, very excited for this. Since The Mandalorian ended, I've wanted more Star Wars in my life. We're getting a lot of Marvel, but I've wanted some more Star Wars. And this one comes back with a bang, and I really enjoyed the first episode. With that being said, I would give the episode 1, Book of Boba Fett, a 4.5 out of 5 Boba hair pieces.
Episode 1, Stranger in a Strange Land of the Book of Boba Fett, really sets the stage for the rest of the series. I'm really excited for the rest of the episodes. I can't wait until next week. They're going to drop every week on Disney Plus, I believe on Wednesdays, just like this one dropped. So yes, really looking forward to it. I had a great time with it. Really excellent episode. If this is a glimpse of what's to come, just imagine how action-packed and awesome it's going to be to see in the upcoming episodes and find out more about Boba Fett, a character that's been a minor a minor player, but is finally getting his due. So with that being said, I'm going to give episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett a 4 out of 5 Temeura Morrison hair pieces.
So we're interested in hearing your thoughts on the first episode, Stranger in a Strange Land. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What are your predictions for the season of Boba Fett? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com. And me and this guy will be back soon talking more Book of Boba Fett. We're both huge Star Wars fans, so we're going to be back, I don't know, every few weeks, or maybe at the end of the season, we'll do a season recap. But regardless, we will be back talking about one of our favorite bounty hunters in the series, Book of Boba Fett, now streaming on Disney+.
So until the next time, in a galaxy far, far away, it's time to go do some bounty hunting. I'm Henry Fett.
And I'm Django Myers.
Until next time, cheers.